Jason Schreier is one of the best insiders into the whole gaming industry, and he's also had some inside information about GTA 6. In yesterday's news video, I broke down a small portion of what happened with the Jason Schreier story, and I wanted to wait until Jason actually made a response. And this video is going to be all about the delay misinformation for GTA 6. Now, the three things that he mainly said was that the last he heard, the game was not content complete, which a lot of people made fake headlines about, saying Jason Schreier actually believes that the game will be delayed to 2027, which isn't true, because if you read one line further, he says that he believes it's really hard to say right now if the game will release in November. Doesn't think anyone at Rockstar is 100% certain they'll make it. And the third thing is that this release feels like a little bit more real than fall 2025 or May 2026 did. And everybody went crazy about this. All of these clickbait YouTubers saying that it's gonna be delayed, saying the game is not ready and it should be ready, while Jason says exactly what he means with content complete. He says developers are still finalizing missions, that's why it's not content complete. They're adding stuff and deciding what makes it into the final game, which again, like I said in the last video, is normal gaming development. It's just like when I'm making a YouTube video, 1 minute before I hit the render button, I'm like, oh, maybe I should put this extra information in here to put more clarity, or oh, maybe I should delete this part because it makes the video too long and it's actually just an uninteresting part of the video. Gaming is exactly the same, but with a lot more steps, because you have to do coding and creating assets and all that type of stuff. Then we got Tom Henderson, which is the guy without a webcam right here, who before Jason Schreier talked about the content complete, Tom Henderson said that the game was content complete a while back. And so now there's this discussion between, well, what does content complete mean? And on the Insider Gaming Weekly podcast, they are talking about this right here.
Grand Theft Auto 6. Is it going to be delayed? Is it coming out in November? That's what the gaming world was in a tizzy earlier this week, to the point where Polymarket, the terrible prediction app, chances spiked of a delay. Take-Two stock fell just a meager 1.7% just at the mention on a podcast that Grand Theft Auto 6 may not be content complete yet. That's what Jason Schreier had said, did report it on Insider Gaming.
It is absolutely insane that somebody is just talking about Grand Theft Auto 6 on a podcast and then it gets misconstrued, and then whole markets are shifting because of that. People are gambling upon it with the whole Polymarket thing. It is absolutely insane how much accidental consequences this all has. Now, Mike from the Insider Gaming Weekly podcast goes on to say a little bit about all these headlines that are being created that are misleading, which we'll also get into in the video later on.
But I feel I'm going to toot our horn. We reported on it the best because some of these, the way it was reported, were terrible, to say the least. One headline was Grand Theft Auto 6 may face another delay, according to insider Jason Schreier. He never said that. And the one that stood out that he specifically on his report on Bloomberg, I highly recommend going to read it so you can see just how fanatical fans can be, and not in the best way. GTA 6 third delay has gamers kissing goodbye to their November dreams. What the hell was that? Awful. The big thing that came out of that, it might not be content complete last he heard. Who knows when that was? Yeah. But also that there was confidence, and it felt like this November 26 release date, 2026 release date was real. It felt real, and that was important context that we covered at Insider Gaming that other outlets just seem to want to skip over. And it kind of it led to some drama to where he shared quotes that he received of threats from people over just a comment he made on a podcast.
And yeah, in GTA 6, this whole community is super overblown with all the reactions, and I don't understand why people are so emotional over this. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm one of the biggest Grand Theft Auto fans out there. I really am excited about Grand Theft Auto 6, and I cannot wait to get into this game and play it, but to have somebody receiving threats just because of something they did not even say is insane to me. Here is the clip of what Tom Henderson has to say about the whole content complete part, because Tom and Jason probably talked to two different people, or maybe the same person. We don't know. We also don't know at what time they both spoke to whoever at Rockstar saying that the game is content ready or content complete. So here is kind of the explanation that Tom Henderson has.
My point with this discussion is literally, what are people doing with their reactions to this? Like, we reported on it because it's something to say, hey, it might not be content complete, but that doesn't mean you should worry about a delay. Game development is hard. No one can say for sure what's going to happen. The world might end tomorrow and no one ever sees it. Like, this is how it is.
Yeah, I think it came out as well, right? Soon after the misquotes that even Red Dead Redemption 2 wasn't content complete 4 months before it released, right? They were still doing mocap and stuff like that. I think just quickly covering what Jason said, and obviously like a couple of months ago, I said that the game was content ready. I think there's been some misinterpretation from different sources of exactly what that means, if that makes sense, because does content ready mean that the pipeline of what they want to do is ready, but they've not captured it and it's not content complete yet?
Yeah,
or has something more sinister happened with game development? And I said this on the Iron Lords, and is a reason why I don't want to get into it too much in this episode, but on Iron Lords After Dark, at the end of the day, game development is tremendously all over the place, right? It isn't a linear process. It really isn't point A to point B. There are so many different things in between there, and we can speculate a little bit, right? Like, this is the first game where Houser's not been involved in the project, so is there a new director on the project changing the pipeline a little bit and throwing in bits and bobs here and there? It came out earlier this week that 3 people had been fired at Rockstar for leaking. So has that in some capacity throughout development changed how they want the game to look like and stuff like that? So yeah, it's all very interesting. I will say that it's very unfortunate to see outlets continue to misquote people and twist it in their own ways for views. I think, let's be honest, Insider Gaming has done that a couple of times, but that's down to lack of experience and all that kind of stuff. And I just hope that people can start learning from mistakes. But when you see it time and time again, it's just very unfortunate to see, and to see people giving death threats over unsubstantiated claims is very, very
and it was and it's one of those things. If it's someone talking on a podcast, like, if there was a worry or risk about a delay, I'm pretty sure he would have written a story. It would have been his big Friday exclusive that he done.
Yeah,
because there's very few, like, I'm gonna plug Totillo again with GameFile, but Schreier is one of the best journalists in this industry, and it like the egos of like people like me, and like it's easy to and you, Tom, and Grant, like, you can see who the top tier are. Like, if he's not gonna just recklessly speculate on things, and this was a case of him just saying, hey, last he heard, it wasn't content complete. And you brought up content ready, and when I hear content ready, I hear, hey, it's feature complete in the dev pipeline, the features are ready, and now it's time to fill it in. And that's what I took, and people were throwing you under the bus saying you lied, and I'm sitting there like, ready and complete are 2 different things. Like,
I mean, even
I don't
so
want to get on my soapbox here, because I don't want to be.
Even so, I think it's important that you did say this, is we still don't know when Schreier heard this. We don't know from how many. We know he could have heard it 3 months ago, right around the time when I said that it was content ready. So it is what it is. It's just unfortunate, I guess. Like, GTA 6 is always going to bring in the views. Let's be honest, we know it from our side doing what we do. So anytime that it's mentioned, people are going to lap it up, and I would definitely imagine that this isn't going to be the last podcast that we do where GTA 6 is in the title for one reason or another, right? But yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's a video game. Video games get delayed. GTA 6 could get delayed. Will it get delayed? I don't know, but it's just game development, and we've said it time and time again. Rockstar are not releasing that thing if there is anything wrong with it.
Though they might have to, because there is the one thing that kind of got buried with the lead, with all this drama surrounding will it and won't it. There's still that lawsuit and the investigation going on whether Rockstar involved in union busting.
So yeah, that was Tom Henderson with Game Insider Podcast, talking about his opinion about all of this and what it means for a game to be content complete. Let's go back to what Jason Schreier has said about this whole situation and all the blown out of proportion reactions that have come with his statements. So he's doing the good old hi everyone Just like Rockstar Games. Jason says, today we're diving into one of the most foolish rumors I've ever seen play out. But first, and then he's doing all this stuff, he talks about the dumbest timeline, saying on Thursday, rumors began to mushroom across the internet that the highly anticipated game Grand Theft Auto 6 was going to be delayed again. On Polymarket, the chance of a delay spiked, while shares of Take-Two Interactive Software Inc., the company behind the game, fell 1.7% amid all the feverish conjecture. Jason says that this was a surreal experience. After all, the source of these rumors was him. And he says, despite the fact that I had not reported that the game would be delayed. So yeah, this paragraph up next is basically a little bit about why GTA 6 is the biggest game. We already know that. But then he says, the lengthy development cycle and multiple delays have led to paranoia amongst nervous fans and analysts that the game is troubled or that it might slip again. Now, to be honest, we all know how big this game is, so people are not really troubled that the game might slip again. I think everybody is pretty confident that GTA 6 will come out at the end of the year. I do still think it will come out at the end of the year. Of course, because we've had 2 delays, now you have kind of a pattern that people can allude to. Well, it's being delayed 2 times, but also RDR2 has been delayed 2 times, and we know that every GTA has had big delays among the other Rockstar titles. But yeah, Jason Schreier goes on to say, which would have big ramifications for Take-Two in terms of the stocks going down. It's GTA making studio Rockstar Games and the rest of the industry. Which brings us to this week's debacle. So on Tuesday, he says, I appeared on the Ringer's Gaming podcast, where host Ben Lindbergh asked about my level of confidence in a 2026 release of the game. Jason says, I said that I wouldn't be surprised if Grand Theft Auto 6 followed the same pattern as Red Dead Redemption 2, which was also delayed twice before finally landing in the fall of 2018. Jason says, I added that the game is not yet content complete and that the developers are still finalizing missions and levels. And he quotes himself here from that podcast episode saying, I don't think anyone at Rockstar would tell you with 100% certainty that they will make it out in November, but I think this feels a little bit more real than fall 2025 did. And then Jason says, I caution that the game development is always complicated and that the stakes are especially high for GTA 6, which Rockstar would rather delay again than release in a compromised state. And of course this is true, we all know it, Mind's Eye, Cyberpunk, both these games, their reputation is not good for a lot of people. Of course, Cyberpunk does have restored their reputation a little bit, but still people like me now are talking about how that game launched horribly. But yeah, Jason goes on to say, video game schedules are nearly impossible to predict because they have so many variables, and 10 months is way too far away for anyone to be able to confidently say that what will happen. None of this was newsworthy or controversial information, but over the next 2 days, my quotes were chewed up and spat out by the internet, regurgitating, I don't know what this word, regurgitating machine, leading to a rash of provocative headlines this Thursday. And then he goes on to put some people on blast. One of the headlines was from Dexerto saying Grand Theft Auto 6 may face another delay, which is not true, according to industry insider Jason Schreier. And so Dexerto, a popular internet content maker, made this X-post, and Jason Schreier says it's a misleading X-post that was liked more than 13,000 times. And here is that tweet. We see that it's almost 3 million views, which is crazy, and now it's on 18,000. And even Opera GX, the browser, is talking about it, but yeah, you know, it's Twitter. Everybody responds to everybody. Jason goes on to say, other headlines and forum posts added to the storm of misinformation. Quote unquote, GTA 6's third delay has gamers kissing goodbye to their November dreams, declared the website Screen Rant. Now, Screen Rant is one of those gaming outlets that you should never ever take seriously. They have so many BS headlines, it's insane, so don't even click on anything that they say. And honestly, I feel like Jason shouldn't even really be that surprised by a headline from Screen Rant like that, because this is what they do, this is what they always do. Anyway, Jason goes on to say, by Friday morning I was even receiving death threats from gamers. One of them saying, I'd hate for me and my friends to have to track you down. Red had one email in my inbox. Now this is where it gets really dark, you know. I don't know if this is really a death. I feel like Jason Schreier also is kind of misquoting people, even though it is a threat. It's, you know, but not a death threat. But yeah, if I would get something like this, I would be thinking it's a death threat as well. And that is something that, you know, the emailer is alluding to, of course. So I would be very paranoid, and I would be, you know, honestly very disappointed and saddened by the whole kind of GTA community. And it's just very sad. It's very sad. Jason goes on to say, as this internet nonsense played out, a far more important event was unfolding in the UK, where Rockstar has several offices. And basically he talks about what I talked about in yesterday's video. So that's kind of what this is all about, and this as well, and this as well, and this is the last part of that whole point. If you want to see all about that, go ahead and watch my video from yesterday if you haven't seen that one. Then Jason Schreier ends this article saying, meanwhile, with 10 months to go before the planned release date for Grand Theft Auto 6, the internet misinformation machine is also revving up for what may be a very long slog until November. And yeah, that is basically all that is. And it is a little bit of a long slog, at least until May or something, when hopefully Trailer 3 will be coming out. But we just don't know when anything is gonna come out. I think Rockstar is way too busy with all this stuff, with the whole, you know, union busting story and everything going on with that, and they want to kind of get clear of those negative stories before they go into the fun mode and put out trailers. However, at the other side, I think their marketing plan in terms of Rockstar with GTA 6 has already been laid out right now, and they will already probably have their marketing timeline ready to go, and they are working on trailers already. You know, when trailer 2 came out and all the screenshots and the website, you knew that they were working a long time on getting all of that stuff together, because how many meetings would you have to determine how the screenshots look, which characters are going to be in the screenshots, what locations are you going to visit, and all of that. It's the same with trailer 3. Every single shot of that trailer is going to be very well composed. And they're already working on trailer 3 probably right now, even if it's just a storyboard, you know, something like that, or like a little script that they write for it. And 6 months from now, we get a different graphics upgrade from what we've seen from trailer 2. So I'm very excited about that. But yeah, I just had to make an update video on all of this, even though I didn't really want to, because yeah, I don't like really these delay talks, and this is all nonsense and noise. It's so stupid in my opinion. But hey, at least you know now what is really going on. The guy just said something on a podcast and everybody's pretending the game is delayed, to the point where stocks are going down and people are panicking. It's classic internet for you. Yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you to the members on screen right here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.